Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today's video will be about the top 10 books that I want to read before 2020. I have a very large TBR. I have a lot of books that I need to get to, a lot of books that I want to get to. So these are just like the top 10 that I just really think that I want to get to before the year 2020. Of course, I'm going to be reading other books besides these ones. I know I am. I know there's going to be some that I'm going to be excited for coming out. I also know that I am kind of a mood reader sometimes, so I'm just going to pick up a book that I feel like reading above these ones, but these ones I just hope that I can get to before the end of the year. So this is in no particular order, so I'm just gonna jump right into them. One of the books that I want to get to before 2020 is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. This is a book that is just very popular around BookTube. A lot of people really enjoy it, a lot of people really love it, and I know that this is about a world where we've mastered death in a way. There's no disease, there's no aging, there's no, hunger, there's no anything that could potentially kill you. So in a sense, we have mastered death. So the only way that we can die is by somebody called a scythe, and they are trained to kill people. So it's going to follow our two main characters who are being apprenticed to a particular scythe, and they don't really want to be a part of this. They don't want to learn how to do all the killing, but they're going to, and I've just heard amazing things about it. One of my old managers at my store that I used to work at really enjoyed this book, and just people just love it so much. So I hope to get to this before 2020. Another one I want to get to is How Long Till Black Future Month by N.K. Jemisin. I would like to mention that I do have a signed copy of this. This is a collection of short stories. It's actually her first short story collection. N.K. Jemisin is the author of the Broken Earth trilogy. It's the one that starts with the 5th season. I absolutely love that trilogy. It's probably one of the best trilogies I've ever read. This is a collection of her short stories, and there's going to be a bunch of like fantasy elements, and I'm sure a bunch of like political themes, race themes in this novel. Like, that's something I really enjoyed in the Broken Earth trilogy. So I'm hoping that a lot of these stories kind of have that. She writes so beautifully, and she just has such hard-hitting themes that I just love it so much. I love her as an author, and I love her other works, and I just really need to get to this novel. Another one I want to get to is Cersei by Madeline Miller. Madeline Miller is the author of The Song of Achilles, which is a book that I just really enjoyed, and I've heard nothing but good things about this one as well. This one follows kind of the same themes of Song of Achilles, where it takes kind of a mythical fairy tale almost, and takes what we know from that, and then she fictionalizes it, if that's a word, and she creates her own story about Cersei. So it's going to be following Cersei's upbringing and how she became the Cersei that we learned about in the Odyssey, I believe. So I'm just really looking forward to this. It's supposed to have some really good characters and really good themes and great writing, so I hope to get to this one by 2020. Another one I want to get to is actually a new release, and it is Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. This book is, again, so popular on BookTube. It is about a young woman who is starting to work at a library, I believe. In the library, there are these grimoires that, if provoked, they will turn into these like beasts of like paper and like rage and all this kind of stuff. So there's sorcery involved, and it just sounds like an epic time. And also, it's set in a library. Like, who doesn't love books like that? I would also like to mention, beautiful cover. So this is one that I definitely want to get to by 2020. I just heard amazing things about it. Oh, there's an eye on the back. Another one I want to get to is one that I've had on my shelf and on my TBR for a very long time, and it is Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. I read and enjoyed Aurora Rising, also by Jay Kristoff, and co-written with Amy Kaufman, but I've been putting this one off because I think one of the themes is something that is in my current WIP, my work in progress, and I mean, I haven't worked on it in months, but like I think there's some sort of magic that's similar to mine, so I've just been putting it off because I don't want to be influenced in any way, but I think I just really have to read it. It's just sounds right up my alley. It is about a young woman who wants to get revenge, but then is taken into a school and is trained to become an assassin, and so I think there's some sort of magic and just amazingness involved in this, and it just sounds like something that I would just really, really enjoy. I have heard that it's kind of on the slow side. I've heard that the writing is like kind of hard to get into, so hopefully I can work around that. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. I was looking forward to it when I bought it. Like, I bought it when it was a first edition, as well as the sequel. Like, I have the sequel on my shelf over there. So it's just something that I've been looking forward to for a while. So I should probably get to this within the next 2 months. Next, I would really like to get to Frozen Tides by Morgan Rhodes. This is the 4th book in the Fallen Kingdom series. I own the entire series that's sitting right in front of me, all 6 books, and I have yet to get to the 4th one. I just really need to do so. It is a young adult fantasy series following just a group of characters, and within there's, you know, political intrigue and action, adventure, romance, all those things that you love in a young adult fantasy series. So I just need to see how this one goes. The 3rd book, Gathering Darkness, was one of my favorite books of the year that I read it. I can't remember what year it was, but I just need to dive into this, and I just need to continue with the series. So this one for sure. I also want to get to We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Fazal. This is another new release, and it is another young adult fantasy book that just people are raving about. I think the cover is absolutely beautiful. I think it's a story that is just right up my alley. It follows a young woman named, what's her name? Saphira. She is known as the Hunter, and she disguises herself as a man to hunt because that's mainly a man's job. She also goes into this kind of forbidden forest in a way where it's very dangerous to go in there. It's kind of magical in a sense, and she just goes in there to hunt, and it also follows a man named Nazir. Is that his name? Let me look it up. Yeah, and he is the son of the king, so he's the prince, but he also is like his king's, or his father's assassin in a way. So they obviously cross paths. There's obviously some sort of plot in this book, and I think they have to like find an artifact of some sort. I don't know, but it just sounds like something that I'd be really into, and I really should get to this one. Another one I want to get to is Crown of Feathers by Nikki Payu Preto. I like looked up these names. I'm probably butchering them. I looked up these names and how to pronounce them, and I just like, there's so many of them, I can't get it. But yes, this one, another beautiful cover, another young adult fantasy novel. This one follows a young woman named Veronica who has always dreamed about becoming a Phoenix Rider. Phoenix Riders shouldn't really exist anymore. They're kind of like a legend, but she has always dreamed of that, and she goes on a quest to kind of find them and join them, and even if it means disguising herself as a man to become a Phoenix Rider. And from what I can tell from the Dust Jacket description, there also is kind of like another storyline that follows Veronica's, like kind of coincides with it, and it's about the last Rider Queen. So they kind of have parallel stories, I believe, going on, and I believe at one time queens were Phoenix Riders. So it just sounds cool, and we usually see books about dragon riders, but we don't see anything else, and like Phoenix is just a unique kind of take on the story, and I just look forward to reading this one, and it just sounds so good, and I'm so excited. The second to last one that I want to talk about is A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. This is the sequel to An Ember in the Ashes, which is a book that I really enjoyed a few years ago when I actually read it, and I just haven't gotten to the sequel yet, and it's just something that I should really do. People just adore this trilogy. I think it's a trilogy. It might be longer. People just adore it, and I need to jump back on that bandwagon because I really did enjoy An Ember in the Ashes, so I should get to the sequel. And then finally, the last one I am going to talk about is Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Piercing. This is a book that is also set in the same world as her Reniment Chronicles trilogy, which is one of my favorite trilogies. I just love that trilogy a lot. adored the first book. It's so good. But yeah, this is set in the same world. I believe there should be some appearances from our beloved characters from the other trilogy. I know that there's like 3 women in here that are part of like the Queen's Guard, and I know that they're going to be making an appearance in here, and it just sounds so good. And I think I'm going to read everything Mary E. Pearson writes because I just loved the Rennebeck Chronicles so much, and since this is taking place in the same world, I definitely need to get to this one. So there you have it, everyone. Those were 10 books that I need to get to before 2020. Let me know down below if you have read any of these books and what you thought about them, maybe which one I should get to first. Also, let me know if there are any books that you are dying to get to before the next year. So please like this video and subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see y'all next time. Bye! Are you tired? You just chilling?